Allow me to thank Reverend Father Adi and the Arrupe Jesuit Institute for giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts with you. Reverend Father, thank you very much. Allow me also to take this opportunity to recognize and congratulate the 16th King of the Ashanti Kingdom, Otumfuo Setitu II, on his 25th anniversary since ascending the golden stool as Asante. In these 25 years, he has ruled wisely and exemplified what a people need as a leader. So Otumfuo, wherever you are, we wish you 25 more glorious years. And allow me to also take this opportunity to publicly thank him for being a mentor and support over the past 25 years. In 1971, there was a band called Osibisa. They played a wonderful song titled Warrior, Warrior. I'm not too sure whether I should sing the song or not. But the lyrics of the song, any of you know the song? We are going, heaven knows where we are going. We know within we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know we will. These lyrics generally inform what I chose to share with you, having been given the privilege by Reverend Father Adi to determine the choice of my thoughts under the broad banner of mindset. In Osibisa's Waya Waya, heaven knew where they were going, and they were sure they would get there. I'm not sure the same can be said for your generation by yourselves, let alone by anyone else. And no, it's not your fault. It is definitely not your fault. When I graduated from the University of Ghana some 40 years ago to the day, I experienced the same emotions you're experiencing now. I was elated and pumped up that I had completed my tertiary education and possessed what in my mind was a highly priced first degree. I was certain a good job would follow soon after national service. Then I was also anxious about whether that would be how my life after school would play out. No, it did not play out that way. Times were hard, but nowhere as hard as you are experiencing now, which is why I say to you, it is not your fault. You are faced with an altogether complex and difficult environment. Complex because your generation is what I call the microwave generation. I call you the microwave generation because you are programmed from birth to be impatient, even entitled, and again, it is not your fault. Impatient because you have grown up in a technological age where everything gets to you almost in real time because of the power of social media, technology, and the internet. You therefore suffer the pressure that comes with social media, Snapchat, X, Facebook, Instagram. Yesterday, my daughter was talking about another one. I forget. TikTok, there's another one. That kind of pressure can either dampen one's spirit or raise one's hopes and aspirations. You are growing up in a difficult economic environment with very few jobs and high unemployment. You are growing up in an era of severe peer pressure and family pressure. You are growing up in an environment which confuses you about what your sexuality should be, when simply put, it is binary, in my opinion. You are growing up in an environment where all we see and want to emulate are very corrupt politicians and societal leaders, and you see these people presented as role models, and you get confused as to whether this is the type of person you want to be or otherwise. Particularly when even the churches, including the Catholic Church, will give these persons places of honor in the church. You are growing up in an era of instant gratification with no value placed on medium to long-term planning, especially by successful governments of the day. So you wonder, and rightly so, what future you have. And on the macro level, the future appears bleak. Ladies and gentlemen, you are growing up in an environment where all of a sudden we have so-called celebrities, and all you hear and read about them is one salacious issue or the other. And you are growing up in a very toxic and volatile environment where you are either NDC or NPP, and will be tied you if you are either one or the other. You are growing up in an environment where you do not have somebody to hold your hands, you may not secure a job or a contract. You are growing up in an environment where scriptural teachings are being seriously tested and challenged, where evil seems to always triumph over good, and this must be confusing for Catholic youth like you. You are having to process a lot, so no, I do not blame you. The generations before you, including mine, have failed you, and I must apologize for that. Sir Sam Jonah, only a few weeks ago, delivered the 2024 Spring Commencement Address at Morgan State University, where he echoed similar sentiments. Having said that, remember, heaven knows where you are going. And the question is, do you? It is how you choose to react to the environment you are faced with which will make the difference. Of course, all of you will process your personal circumstances within the environment differently. Some will make the right choices for themselves, others may not. But in making the choices, you must be guided by some basic principles which will require a mindset change. One of them is hard work. Having interacted with many young people, it has become fairly clear to me that many do not believe in the grind and toil associated with hard work. Trust me, hard work pays. Hard work lays the kind of solid foundation that you require to succeed on a long-term basis in life. Do not eschew hard work. Know that there are no shortcuts. There is no microwave approach to success. Growing up as a young adult, while doing a lot of traveling across the globe, particularly across Europe, I noticed that every European city had a cathedral of note. These were all magnificent structures. The interesting thing I noticed was that all these cathedrals were built over decades, some over 100 years, meaning the king or queen at the time who conceived the idea, and the architects and designers who designed it, and the builders who started the construction all knew that they would not see the completion of the cathedral, but they started it and was completed over time. Through this revelation, I coined what I call the cathedral mentality. The Cologne Cathedral, for instance, at the Domplatz, was started in the year 1248 and was finally completed and opened to the public in 1880, 632 years later, and it's a magnificent structure. So was the Cathedral of the Holy Cross and St. Eulalia in Barcelona, which was constructed from the 13th century to the 15th century. So, develop a cathedral mentality. Think long-term, think hard work, think perseverance and persistence, and work assiduously and purposefully towards it. Understand in your psyche that life is a marathon and not a sprint. It is life and not a dress rehearsal. You have one shot at it, so you must give it your best shot. But also understand that life is not meant to be a straight and smooth road. It has not been since Eve convinced Adam to taste that apple. So you must expect challenges and failures and disappointments. Yes, there will be successes, but trust me, there will be a lot of failures. Your mindset will determine how you handle both success and failure. For some, success can be the beginning of failure, because for a lot of people, initial success may cause you to drop your guard and forget your values and principles. Initial success may make you complacent and give you a warm inner feeling and also a sense of invincibility. That is a trap. For others, failure is what you will taste first. But understand that failure is in falling down and staying down. You should not stay down, but get up and keep moving. You must persevere and you must persist. Most importantly, you must learn lessons from your failures and missteps. Correct the mistakes. Don't repeat them and move on. Like Johnny Walker, keep walking and never give up. Mistakes should make you strong. Mistakes should build and fortify your character. Mistakes should help you develop a positive attitude. Mistake should revolutionize your mindset. And as you progress in life, you will find that finances will dominate your psyche. The reality of contemporary living is the fact that finances now form the basis of one's livelihood. The days when nephews depended on uncles for their lifestyles are gone and never to return again. The extended family system, which was our own informal Ghanaian social and financial support system, has been destroyed forever, never to return again. So generally, you're on your own. In this regard, financial planning is key. Growing up, my father was my best friend, and he gave me some nuggets. At this point, I will share two with you. The first was, he said, "My son, never spend beyond what you earn." And the second was, if you can, save a percentage of what you earn every month. In fact, I tell a lie. There was a third, which was, never borrow to support your lifestyle. So, never spend beyond what you earn. If you can, save a percentage of what you earn every month. And the third is, never borrow to support your lifestyle. I know it will feel like it is impossible trying to do any of these three things. Trust me, it is possible. All that is required is self-discipline and avoiding social and peer pressure. As indicated in my opening remarks, in this era of social media, peer pressure and social pressure is intense. But you have to hold strong and stick to a plan. And the base of this plan is simple. The 3 pillars my father gave me, I give them to you as well. They have served me well, and if you abide by them, they will serve you well. Abiding by these allows you the luxury of investing, because once you save, you generate investable funds. The importance of creating investable funds is that it gives you the opportunity to create your own pension. You can no longer depend on SNIT. I did not, and I started creating my own retirement and pension fund right from the day I received my first paycheck. I find in my retirement that is the best decision I ever took, because it is those investments I made almost 40 years ago which today take care of me. And it was a slow, determined, long-term process, the cathedral mentality. One of the many benefits of astute and careful financial planning is that it affords one the luxury and or the option of fidelity to integrity. Of course, there are financially well-to-do persons who still do not care two hoots about their image, character, integrity, and reputation. But it's also clear that once you are financially settled, you can afford to protect your name, your family name, and your integrity. When you are broke, so to speak, you are predisposed to all kinds of schemes and temptations to make ends meet. The men may resort to fraud, the ladies may resort to prostitution in various ways, all generally demeaning to one's self-esteem, as I do not believe people are necessarily happy to live such lifestyles. Most are forced to do so, unfortunately. So, ladies and gentlemen, as much as possible, protect your integrity and build your character, and it's all a mindset event. Thomas Jefferson was the 3rd president of the United States, and he made a profound statement which I quote: "Nothing can stop the man with the right mental attitude from achieving his goal. But nothing on earth can help the man with the wrong mental attitude." Career planning is also critical, but in addressing it, it feels as if it's mainly a theoretical concept, but it is not, because career planning is a fact of life. It is, but I imagine that with a high unemployment rate in Ghana, how many of you have a realistic chance of securing employment? The University of Ghana has a student population of approximately 75,000. KNUST and the University of Cape Coast are not far behind. Then the private universities and the other public universities. Altogether, there are about 70 universities in Ghana, graduating tens of thousands of students a year, mostly having read humanities. So what jobs await these students? Very few jobs. And what skill sets do these students pick up at the university? None. Really, at least not the skill sets ready-made for the workplaces and jobs available. In this regard, career planning is critical, and it will require an accommodating and fluid mindset ready to consider and or create options. One should not be fixated on a white-collar job in the job market at all costs because you have a first degree in economics or banking and finance. Plan your career such that at any point in time, you'll be relevant in the job market, meaning you You have to develop other social or artisanal or special skills, and also understanding that as long as you are making a satisfactory, honest living, it is okay. You do not have to be in a suit to be considered successful. Then recently, there's a complicated addition or development of both technology, robotics, and AI, and the threats to the workforce. These developments make career planning even more complicated. You really must read about these technological developments and understand the impact they can and will have on your career. Definitely a number of jobs will be replaced by bots and AI, but they will also provide further career opportunities, and maybe it is time for all of you to consider taking lessons in coding. In challenging times such as these, being inspired and motivated is very difficult. Once your mind is cluttered with what you perceive as problems and difficulties, it is very easy to feel deflated and defeated, almost depressed. This is where you find the churches profiting, because whilst I do not necessarily subscribe to the practices of these charlatans running these syncretic churches, I must admit that almost all churches provide some sort of psychological support to the defeated and challenged, and perhaps through that means prevent people from deep depression and desolation. Nevertheless, you must develop the ability to self-inspire and self-motivate. It is a difficult prospect to achieve, but it is priceless. You can be inspired by books you choose to read or the people you choose to follow on social media, but you must also develop the ability to self-inspire every morning. So it doesn't matter how difficult it is, you wake up every morning and you trudge, you forge ahead, you motivate yourself. As Osibisa said, the road will be muddy and rough, but we will get there. Ladies and gentlemen, the mind is a powerful organ. And if you set your mind to it, it is possible to achieve what you set out to do. It is possible, but mindset formulation, mindset change is everything. And remember, no riches are greater than a healthy body, and no happiness than a joyful heart. Do not give in to sadness or torment yourself deliberately. Gladness of heart is the very life of a person, and cheerfulness prolongs his days. This is from the book of Sirach, also known as Ecclesiasticus. This is where the Catholic prayer, Lord, take away all anxiety, I find most appropriate. And it is my favorite Catholic prayer. That simple line, Lord, take away all anxiety. So at this point, seeing that this is a Catholic Church event, it will be remiss of me, and seeing as the chairman is a woman of the cloth, it will be remiss of me if I do not talk about the importance of prayer in all this. So in all things, you must pray and trust in your beliefs and faith. But it's also important to understand that no amount of prayer, no amount of tongues will help you if you do not act yourselves. William Dutch Sheets, an American pastor, said, prayer is not a check request asking for things from God. It is a deposit slip, a way of depositing God's character into our bankrupt souls. So by all means, pray unceasingly, but act purposefully. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you well in this journey called life. And remember, life is live. It is not a dress rehearsal. And explanations are explanations. Excuses are excuses. Only performance is reality. So like Nike, just do it. For heaven knows where you are going. The road will be rough and muddy, but you will get there. Good luck, thank you, and God bless.